All right, hey everybody. I'm Vonyetta. I am the midday personality on Power 98, and I'm so excited. We've been working from home, and I get to see my other midday ladies.
Yay! So good to see y'all.
I know. So I'm gonna pause, and I'll let everyone introduce themselves in the order of which you guys appear on the screen, starting with Catherine. Then we'll go down to Janine and Cameron.
Okay. My name is Catherine Lane, and I co-host the Tanner in the Morning Show, and I host the Midday Show on Country 103.7.
Yes,
Awesome.
Thank you.
So I am JG the Diva, and I am host of Midday on V101.9, and it's the Janine Davis show. So hey, y'all.
Hey, Janine.
Hey guys, I'm Cameron, and I am Midday host on Kiss 95.1.
Yay.
Cameron.
Awesome. So now that you guys as viewers have been able to, and if you guys see me looking down, I'm just kind of looking at my notes to make sure, I stay on task. So I reached out to my fellow midday ladies because in the wake of the George Floyd murder, and just everything that's been going on within the country, I thought it might be a good option or good thing to have a open and honest conversation just with my girls. Wow. So we can see, you guys can hear how all of us are having to view and see this situation, because as media personalities, sometimes we're super transparent, and then sometimes we're not. So what we'll do is we'll start out with the icebreaker, talking about your feelings with everything, and we can go in the same order. And we'll start with Catherine.
My feelings about the George Floyd murder.
Correct.
Anger. That's my dog, in case y'all can hear that.
Oh, I was like, really? You need to get some water?
That's my dog. When I first heard about it, I was really angry, and still am angry. My husband's a retired state trooper, and he literally started crying whenever he heard what happened. And that was my initial feeling on it. Since it's happened, I've been reflective. I've been trying to listen. I've been trying to keep my eyes wider and my ears wider, and it's been life-changing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Janine?
I had mixed emotions. So when I initially saw the video, I was horrified, because it was almost like racism in slow motion.
Ooh.
And wow. I was like, because normally it's not to say that other people didn't get hurt. You have not seen other evidence of racism or blacks being mistreated. But because you don't really see it, you're having to, the Rodney King beating, we did see that. But it was just different. Something was different about this time. It was alarming, and I could not watch it. It's like, here's a real person begging for his life, and someone is taking it. It's literally treating him like an animal. That's how it looked. The more I watched it. So I did not watch the entire thing. So it took my breath away. I was nervous. I was scared. And then, of course, like everybody else, you get angry. And you're thinking about all these different things. Like, why would you, number one, in your right mind, do that? Because you know you're killing him, right? And you have no remorse at all. And then the people that were around, why weren't they doing something? Even the young lady who was filming it. So I had all these questions in my head. And like, here we go again. And so when the protest started, I was like, are we going to see anything different, though? Because we've always protested. We've marched. Yeah. And then I was discouraged, because I was like, okay, here we go. People really don't value a Black life, especially men, is what I was thinking. And I didn't think anything was going to change. But here we are. Things are changing. So it was a range of emotions.
Right.
Yeah, it took me a day or two to actually watch the video. I started seeing it circulate, just the screenshots and stuff on social media, and I kind of had the feeling Janine did about the protests. Like, again, this has happened. Is anything going to be different? And just it took me a while to watch it, just because that stuff really hits and hits hard, and it's hard to watch. And so,
yeah.
When I started seeing how viral it was going and how many people were sharing it, I knew it was going to be really bad. And so when I finally did watch it, obviously heartbroken, upset, angry. And then, like Catherine said, going into days and weeks after it, seeing people protesting, listening, I felt a lot of guilt because this isn't something new. Like, I've known this has been going on forever. And all of a sudden now I'm so happy so many people are donating, so many people are supporting Black businesses. But why wasn't I doing that before this? Why did it take
that? Right.
Yeah. So I've been dealing with a lot of guilt in that respect. But, you know, I'm definitely, it's a horrible circumstance. But if there's any light at the end of it, I'm really happy that people are finally seeing and kind of coming together and realizing how big the issue is.
Yeah.
And fighting for change finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was going to say, I think with me, well, first of all, I haven't even watched the original video. I cannot watch it. I just can't. No. I've seen some of the other like screenshots, and I've seen some of the videos from the other angles. But as a mom of 2 boys and a wife, you know, honestly, I'm probably more scared for my husband and my children than I've ever been. And it made me kind of think back to when Walter Scott was murdered in Charleston. And I was actually a part of a protest in Columbia at the State House. And I remember having a sign that just said, "We want to live." That's all the sign said. And I remember looking up and I said, "Okay, y'all, it's about to get real." So I saw 4 men on horses. Crazy thing. They were on horses. Right behind them was a biker gang, right? I found out after the fact that all were members of the KKK. And they came up in front of where we were standing, the bikers, and stopped. And they spun their tires. And the smoke was so bad, like it was worse than tear gas. We were choking, and they were, when I say they were doing this for, it seemed like an eternity. And I started thinking, I was like, man, this case is so, like Janine said, is so different than anything else. And, you know, I worry when my son goes down the street, he loves to wear a hoodie every day. And I'm like, what if somebody sees him and they don't know him and they don't think he should, quote unquote, be in this neighborhood? And, you know, I'm not there to protect them because that's my job. God blessed me with these children to protect them. But I'm definitely angry, and I wanted to protest, and I still want to, but because a lot of them are going left so quick, it's not a place that I right now feel comfortable taking my children.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah, but we are going to participate in the Million Man March next week. That's going on in Columbia. So yes, I'm angry. So what were you about to say, Janine?
I was gonna piggyback off of what Cameron had mentioned about feeling guilty, because she's like, "What have I done? Why did it take this for me to sit and pay attention?"
Can y'all hear me?
Hey, lady.
Yes,
Sorry,
hey, Melanie.
That's
okay.
Anyway.
For those really quick, this is Melanie. Melanie, real quick, I'm gonna let Janine finish, but I want you to introduce yourself really quick.
Okay. Janine's gonna finish.
Yeah, and then that's fine. Then you can introduce yourself.
Okay.
But anyway, I was just thinking when you said you felt guilty, I was like, you know what? I felt some guilt too. Being a Black woman, I felt some guilt because I'm like, what have you done? And what are you doing? And why did it have to take this, Janine, a Black woman, for you to even start to think about, okay, we had got to make some changes? Because Clyde has kept, and I know other girlfriends like me are saying, you know, they weren't doing enough. You see it, and I think you become numb to it, and you don't do anything, or you assume the next person is going to do it. But now this particular incident has me saying it's got to be me. It's not even a question of, well, are you going to help? No, I have to help. I have to make a difference. I have to put my stamp on it, whatever that looks like. It could be protesting, which I've done that, but there could be other things. Not everybody wants to protest or feels comfortable doing it, but there could be something else you do. Maybe it is a donation, or maybe since you know we have the power of the vote, maybe you are registering people to vote, or maybe you are volunteering to take elderly to the polls.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I feel like I need to do something that I hadn't done before either. So I just
So okay, there we go. I'm sorry, Charles. I'm trying to get this to where I can get the bottom off of there so I can for Mel. So Mel, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. And what we started with was just a quick introduction and exactly how you feel in regards to the George Floyd murder.
Okay. And I could hear you guys, by the way, talking. I just, for some reason, couldn't get it to work, probably because I'm old. But anyway,
no.
I'm Melanie Myers. I do mornings and middays on K104.7. And you guys know me, and I'm kind of a little rough around the edges. Vonyetta, you and I have known each other for a long time, and I say what I feel. But what may shock you today is I may start crying. Only because it was not only disgusting and horrifying, but surprising what happened to George Floyd. And, you know, I'm not Black. I don't know what it's like to be a Black male or a Black female. But as a human, as a person, it was hard to watch. I mean, I'll start crying. I'm a big baby. But it was horrifying. And what was as horrifying was there are people there and no one's stopping this guy.
Nobody. There
are other police officers. I mean, we are now in this culture where it seems like when something happens, it's everybody has their phone or and sometimes you got to put the phone down and do something.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad they got it on film because this guy, the other cops can be prosecuted. But, you know, sometimes I think you got to put the phone down and do something, rock and roll.
And, you know, Mel, it's funny that you mentioned that because I think that a lot of people felt, because there was a guy and there was a woman that I did see on another angle, and they were literally pleading with
were they?
The officer, right? And they were like, the lady said, "Can you please check his pulse? Can you do something? Just make sure he's okay."
Right.
And they did nothing. And I think that it's been an ongoing fear, in a sense, of the police, not just in Minneapolis, but in a lot of places. And I think that because of that fear, they're in their minds, they're like, I got a family. I have these types of responsibilities. I don't want to be next.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and that makes sense. I mean, that does make sense.
But I don't know how you guys felt, but I just felt like, and it's easy to say you would have done something, but you weren't there. It was like, I think I would have jumped on his back or something. I would have done something to get him off of him, just to relieve the pressure. I don't know if I could have stood there. But, you know,
and I don't either. I mean, I don't think any of us know what we would do. But I'm like you, Janine. I mean, my gut would be to act or do something. But there is probably fear involved, and there's probably shock because you're seeing what's going on and you don't know what to do. I mean, anyone around there had to be experiencing some level of shock, I would assume, because they couldn't believe what was in front of them.
And I actually, I'm a big crime show freak. And there's a show called Finding Justice, and an episode came on about 2 days ago that they filmed in Minneapolis, Crazy thing was, the new police chief, he's black. He was the first black police chief. But it was difficult for him to make changes within the police department because they said that the president of the police union belonged to a racist gang, a racist motorcycle gang. So the whole premise was that it's just been an ongoing thing within the city. And it's like, you know, how do you invoke change? And I think that brings us to our next portion, is how do you all feel that there can be change made? And Catherine, we can start with you. We can do it in the same order.
I mean, I think change is happening now. I think this happening, y'all, I'm sorry, I cannot get my dog off my lap. Away, dog.
He's attached.
That's right. I think there's not a person in this entire world that thought that what happened was okay. No one. Yeah. Everyone in this world thought that was evil, thought that was murder. The guy doing it and the 3 officers that were standing around. I don't know anybody that thought that was even remotely okay. That's a good start. I think beyond the police department, I hope that what comes of this, as I hope there's a heart change in every human being on the planet. Their heart has changed, their mind has changed. Whatever they thought, felt, perceived, you know, before is different now. I hope they teach it in their homes long before anybody becomes in a position of power. That's what I hope happens, is that there's some core heart change, you know, in this world. And then by the time they get to a position of carrying a badge and a gun, or judging other people, being a judge, or being in some kind of law enforcement, that there'll be a different crop of people coming up.
Yeah. Janine?
Well, I feel like change is already happening. I know ultimately it begins with the individual. Like, we all probably are thinking differently about race. I think the fact that we're even having this conversation speaks volumes, because we never would have done this. Yeah. Forcing people to talk about it and be uncomfortable, but being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I think that's a huge change. I think it starts within. You have to check yourself, do a self check, or reflect and say, what have I done that could have been? Y'all hear that popping and cracking noise?
Yeah, I do. I was trying to figure out where it was coming from.
But anyway, so and then I'm just looking at what I can do differently. How can I use our platform to educate other people who may not be comfortable talking about racism, but it's a real thing, and just acknowledging it. I think it begins. And then just making sure that we are doing what we need to do widespread to make change. And that is voting. So I think we can use our platform, at least our platform, to encourage people to vote, because we know voting can change things. It already has. Just like Mike Brown, who was murdered by police in Ferguson when they had the riot. They, for the first time, now have their very first black female mayor.
Yep.
This probably would not have happened if Mike Brown was not murdered in the way in which he was. But I just think reminding people of, they do have the power, they can make a difference, and change can begin with you.
Gotcha. Mel, what about you?
I think I agree with Catherine, where a lot of people need to have a change of heart and a change of mind. I also think that a lot of people need to listen more. The last 2 weeks, I've tried to listen more, not talk as much. We all know I never shut up from 4 in the morning or whatever. But I have learned to try and listen more and read more. I mean, there are a lot of things that I had no idea about. Now, share it quickly. There's a story I read online about a young man, a young black man. He's about, I'd say 19. And he went through the rules that his mom has made him learn ever since he was little about going out. Like, don't ever leave without a receipt. I don't care if you're just buying a pack of gum. Don't play your music too loud. Just stuff that I never would have thought about. As a female, you always have to be aware of your surroundings, but it just blew my mind. I never thought of it in that context.
Yeah.
So I've tried to read more and to educate myself more and to be quiet and to listen more. I think that's what a lot of people need to do, is not make a snap judgment or make something into an argument. You need to listen to other people.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that pop sound? Can you still hear it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Maybe
Okay.
the connection with somebody.
Go ahead, Cameron.
I think this is such a heavy question, because I think there's so much we can do change wise. I think it starts in your own family, in your own house, having conversations about race and about how race isn't fair. It's not just you should love everyone. We need to go deeper than that. We need to talk about how, even though, let's love everyone, let's accept everyone, other races are not set up to succeed the same way that we are. And we need to be aware of that and be more willing to help the people that maybe, because of the past, the way our government has done some laws and set up, neighborhoods and done a lot of sketchy stuff, it has led to other races not having the same opportunity. And we need to be aware of that, and we need to support them. I also think immersing ourselves in different cultures, hearing stories of people of different races, teaches you a lot. Like you were saying, Mel, listening. I think it's awesome that people are listening a lot right now and learning a lot. And, even me, I feel like in the last 2 weeks, I considered myself very knowledgeable about race relations in America and systemic racism. But even in the past 2 weeks, I've learned a lot more.
Yeah.
And so I think that's awesome. JD, like what you were saying, voting, especially, I'm 27. I was 23 the last election. And I know so many of my friends that did not vote.
Yeah.
And so one thing I'm going to do is really get out there and try to get more people my age and younger than me out there voting, because we need to.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Keep it real, Cameron. Keep it real.
we
Right.
gotta support our Black businesses. We gotta support, like I was kind of saying at the beginning, like if our government isn't going to set them up in a world to succeed, then we need to do our part to help them succeed as individuals. And that's something we can immediately do that doesn't hurt anyone and is like so easy. It's just to go out and support Black businesses, support, it just, so those are a couple of things I've just been processing and things I'm going to do moving forward.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, I switched my inputs. I wanted to make sure. I think for me, number one is effective leadership. And when I say effective leadership, I mean people who are not afraid to bring about change. For example, Braxton Winston, he is promoting a policy change to defund CMPD from being able to use chemical agents. I'm not sure if you guys saw the video of the protesters trapped uptown.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was crazy. It was a horrible video and it was a very difficult video as well to watch. So I definitely think bringing about effective leadership. I know a lot of people are saying, we don't want Trump, we don't want this person, we don't want that person. But to be honest with you, a lot of these politicians aren't gonna be. They're there for political reasons and political gain and financial gain in the end. So I say that doesn't matter if you're Black or white, green or blue, if you're going to be in any office and be effective and bring about change, then I'm all for it. I also think what Cameron was saying about, not having the same opportunities. I know a lot of people, I see it on social media. There are a lot of people, Black and brown, that don't feel like this justice system was ever designed for us. They don't feel like the country was ever designed for us in a sense. So seeing, people of all walks of life standing up to say, okay, I'm going to stop this. You aren't going to treat this person this way or this, that, and the third. Alexis, I think his last name is Ohanan, Serena Williams' husband.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped down from his position on the board at Reddit and said, no, you need to hire a person of color to make this board more diverse. Do I think that was right or wrong? I don't really know. That's, I guess, his decision to make. But a lot of people feel like it's a start. And I just think that if we all just look at each other and say, we all matter and we all help each other, some days, I feel like I want to be so united. And then some days I feel so angry and so scared because I just don't know.
Right.
So,
wouldn't it be interesting too if within our own formats, our own home, if we had some diversity? Like we don't have a Black person on our air staff. You guys don't have a white person on your air staff. So wouldn't it be interesting to do something at home a little different, like we're doing today?
Yes, I think
this is. Thank you, Vonyetta, for this.
Yes,
thank y'all.
And this is something different that we've like Janine said, we've never done this before.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just in our own house, this is a change, and maybe in everybody's own house, own profession, you could start out by making some change and then do more and more of it.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'll be talking to Incog about doing something on y'all's air.
Okay.
No.
We could all trade jobs for a day. We could do like a rotating
That would be
midday.
so much fun.
We could do like a rotating midday.
Lighten it up.
Right.
And even me on Kiss would be a joke because I don't know half the people here. I don't know what's going on.
Now I would like working on K because I do know a lot of the songs on K.
We can have each other as guests, or I don't know, do something. I don't know. We could figure something out.
Yeah,
I think
Just
that would be fun.
Experience a different atmosphere.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
So let's see. Some days, y'all, my contacts be acting up. I be like, so I got contacts in right now, but sometimes they be like, So at this point, we're rolling into our wrap up portion. I do want to allow you guys to have your closing thoughts, and if you guys have a voicemail at the station, drop that number for people to leave comments.
Okay.
So, Catherine, we'll start with you.
Well, I don't have a voicemail, but anybody can reach me, Catherine Lane at country1037fm.com. And to wrap it up, for me, I want to keep getting better personally. I want to keep learning, developing, growing, waking up to everything that's going on that has always been around me, that I'm just now really feeling in my heart, my soul, and my mind. I mean, it's all we talk about at home now, around my friends. What can we do to make things better? How can we help change, affect change, understand more, listen more, and if there's anything positive that could come out of it, it's just I feel a shift in the world. And my world begins with me and mine, and how I'm gonna be better, how I'm gonna try to help more. It's not something that we can accept in any way, shape, or form from now on. Everybody's different now, and so that's what I'm hoping for.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. And if you guys notice, I muted. I was trying to see if I could minimize that popping, but I think it's actually the StreamYard. So we'll move on. So Janine, you up. Your closing thoughts, voicemail, if you want to leave that as well.
I like that, Catherine, that you just want to be a better you. And I think I want to do the same. Just concentrate on what I can do better. And I want to be able to, I hope that we're in a place where we can call people out. When we see racism or hear it, and even if it's in a joking manner, I think we have to talk about it. We just have to be real about whatever it is. If we're not feeling comfortable with it, be honest and open. I want to continue to have conversations like this, and I want to continue to put myself in positions where I normally wouldn't be, and forget about being uncomfortable. Sometimes you just have to do the right thing. The thing that makes you the most uncomfortable or the thing that you fear most, you're supposed to do it anyway. So I want to do more of that. And I'm going to be taking some people to the polls. That's something I've never done before. And I'm like, I've never been to a council meeting. So all these things where I can impact change or at least educate myself, I want to do more of that. And I'm hopeful with young people. I feel like they're so powerful right now. I love how young people, they are so fierce. They ask for permission later. They just do it. They ask for forgiveness later. I'm sorry. They don't ask for permission. So I want to get out of that mindset of, well, we got to wait. We got to check to see. No, we're going to do it. Like this. Like me and Vonyetta were talking, like, just do it. We don't have to have permission. Let's just get it done. So I want to just get it done. Hashtag get it done. Phone number is 704-227-8643.
Awesome. And I kind of do, just to interject really quick, I have to go vote tomorrow. And every time I vote, I make it my business to take my kids, if they're out of school, to take my kids. And tomorrow, I got to go vote because I live in South Carolina. But yeah, I just want to get more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm with you guys, Catherine and Janine, on that. Melanie. Yeah.
I think that, especially for me, just listening more and just being a better person. I mean, that's all we can do. I've decided to try and get a little bit more active here in Gastonia. I mean, I grew up Jewish in Gastonia. I don't know if y'all have been to Gastonia. We had 6 Jewish people. I mean, it was an interesting experience, and I have only experienced racism on a minute level compared to what's happening now. We had swastikas put on my dad's office building, and I've had to deal with some of those festive Aryan Nation dudes. So I understand it a little, not all the way, but all I can do is continue to try and understand it. And when you were talking, Catherine, and Janine about stepping up, it's like bullying. You got to step up. You got to protect those people that are around you. If you see somebody say something that's unnecessary, point them out, because half the time when you do, they're going to be so embarrassed, they're going to shut it and walk away. And I think we have to get more involved in that way. And I taught at a Title I school here in Gaston County. And a big push for me, because I was an English teacher, is to make sure that reading and writing is up to par. And there are a lot of children in that community where that is not the case. So just because I'm not teaching anymore doesn't mean I can't get back in there, get my hands dirty, and trying to help out kids of all races become better kids. And, I used to tell my stepkids, if you're good little people, you'll be good big people. And that's what we have to continue to do is make sure that all the little people know how to act right, can, make sure that their future goes as far as they want it to go, and help them as much as possible.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Mel. Cam, I'm coming to you, sister. Oh, Cameron, you muted yourself. You got to unmute.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. That's okay.
We don't have a voicemail number, but you can always find me on Instagram, Cameron on the radio. And then I think it has all of my contact info on our KISS 95.1 website. Just click on the Cameron tab. I agree with Catherine. I want to really just work on being the best version of myself. And, even before this happened with quarantine, stuck at home for 3 months, all you got to do is think about the wrongs and rights you've done in your life and how you can become a better person. And this has just amplified that. So working on myself, working on learning as much as I can, having those uncomfortable conversations, calling out anyone I'm around, which is really uncomfortable, especially if it's in a professional setting. But I really need to, work on, if I hear something that isn't right, I need to say something. I don't need to just fade in the background and do what's polite anymore. And then I want to donate more. I think, do I really need to go out and eat 5 nights a week? No. Why don't I use 1 or 2 nights of that money to donate to an organization that's going to actually help people?
I can teach you how to cook, Cameron.
Yeah, I'll just eat some ramen at home. Like, come on, Cameron. Like, let's be a little better here. So yeah, just working on myself, and I'm really excited to see how many people are getting out and protesting and how many people want change. I'm so excited to see how this affects voting, and how this will continue. I really hope this does. I don't think it's going to, but I really hope that people continue to have this passion and act on this passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Awesome. I want to say too, my voicemail is 704-227-8813. I definitely think in my closing remarks, I 150% agree with all of you ladies, especially the calling out. And as Cameron said, in a professional setting, that's probably the most difficult, because that's a whole nother battle in itself. Systematic racism is a whole nother, battle. But it's a start. And I also want to say, when I had this idea was supposed to be in the studio on the air, everybody in the studio. Mm-hmm. And then it was going to be live, but it ended up being recorded. But regardless, the conversation, not only was it great and needed, I think this is something that we should do more often, even if it's once a month or once a quarter, and we have something that we chat about and people can have that option, just to be transparent and see how we feel in our lives. I just think it's great, and I really appreciate you guys, for doing it. So
yeah, thank you.
It's so much fun.
Thank you for being fierce and just doing it.
Yeah. I try to be, and it's like, for me, like I said, I wanted to protest. I wanted to get out in the streets, but I also had to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I did realize that there were a lot of protests that were not being organized by the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And because they weren't being organized by the right people, I can't take my 3-year-old and my 13-year-old out just to show them something, and then they're in the midst of danger, and I'm scrambling to protect my babies. So what I did instead, the Million Man March that's coming up in Columbia, we are going to that, because I do know who's putting that on. But I had a conversation. I just sat down and I asked my son, I said, how do you feel? What do you feel about the protest? What do you feel about all of this? And, he told me, he said, Mom, I just don't understand why they killed that man. He said, I watched the video, and he said, Mommy, it hurts my heart to know that this man, that those officers, in his exact words, they had no regard for his life. It was depraved indifference. When he said that, I said, oh, okay. But it was a tough conversation to have, because truth be told, we had to have a conversation with our oldest son about encountering police before we talked about the birds and the bees.
Wow,
that's crazy.
You froze, Vonyetta.
Yeah.
Kramer says hello.
Okay, you're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Mel, hey to your doggy.
Kramer, Mr. Kramer. Kramer's just so excited. He wants to say hello to all the ladies.
What up, Kramer?
God forbid, I take an hour to do something and I'm not paying attention to Kramer.
Right. Exactly.
Problem.
I'm telling you, I'll never have a man. I got this dog. It's all over.
Well, I'm not claiming it.
Try working with a 3-year-old at home. Thank God he's back the church is back open and he's back at school.
That's gotta help.
But oh man, I thought I was gonna go insane in the membrane. So I'm like, I'm around the house like this right here. Ooh, let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this.
I would love to do something like this more often. I really would. And I didn't give
do
a phone
too.
number. I don't have an office or phone number, but unlike Cameron, you can always find me on Instagram or Facebook. It's Melanie Myers. So, but I love.
Well, I think we need to be talking and figuring out, something like this in the future. And I'm gonna figure out why StreamYard is popping in the background, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's like Pop Rocks. It sounds like somebody's eating Pop Rocks.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I know you guys are at home. We're all working from home and having great days. And I think we're probably a little spoiled working from home, but that's okay. We still make it absolutely best shows ever because we do what we do.
Right.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Bye.